Good evening. We are back, and It's not another decent result yet again. I'm joined this evening by Harry for our quick instant reaction. Unfortunately, like most of you, won't have been able to actually watch the game, so just had a brief listen. So I've listened to it quite extensively on the radio, and Harry's been looking at the statistics. Um, but yeah, we're out to Burnley after two wingers, two of our most advanced wingers, managing to miss both of their penalties. Harry, what do you make of what you've heard or not heard or seen or statistics or what you've seen on Twitter?
Well, yeah, by the sounds of it, we were. Well, don't want to say much the better team because we had 3 shots on target from 18 shots, but we were better than Burnley. It doesn't sound like a thrilling game, but we played all right. But once again, no Wilson, no goals. A bit gutting, really.
Yeah, it's gutting, mate. It's really gutting. Um, it's like you say, no Wilson, no goals. But I think it was 17 or 18 opportunities today. I think you mentioned yourself that we only actually had three on target, which again is just shambolic. And you look at the Southampton side that we're facing on Saturday, who have gone and put 8 past Newport. And yes, it's Newport, but like you said in the chat, that's the Newport lineup that took us to penalties last year.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
yeah.
it's a worrying one, isn't it? It's a worrying one. I mean, how do you actually feel about the fact that we're out of the cup and not having an extended cup run yet again?
Oh well, it's just same old, isn't it? It's if we get far, we'll get knocked out to someone like Brentford or someone we should be beating, and if not, we'll lose to Leicester like we did a couple of years ago, or a Burnley where we could be competing at home.
Yeah,
Good chance to make a bit of progress. Burnley aren't a great side by any means, so yeah, it's a bit disappointing to be knocked out at the first opportunity.
it is. What do you make of that comment there, mate? Miggy not good enough. I'm starting to hear it. I heard it quite a bit from fans outside of Newcastle saying that they didn't think he was a good enough player, and you just kind of turn a blind ear or deaf ear to it. But how are you feeling about him?
Well, I don't know. Is that if that's just referring to tonight, then I think that's a bit unfair. On the whole, I think he's a talented player. He's just not played in the right position, personally. But if that's based on tonight, then I think that's unfair because he played 7 minutes and then had a penalty, which was saved. Which, all right, it wasn't a great penalty, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's not a good enough player just because he missed one penalty.
No, definitely, that's a fair representation, mate. Craig says, as always, next year, lads. There is, but it will end up being the same old story yet again. Ben says, Almiron out. John says, we're worse than bad. Mercedes, 3 losses in 3 games. Bruce out. Are you starting to get frustrated now, Harry? I know, obviously, we've all had a conversation after the Aston Villa game about Southampton being almost a 6-pointer. And that we have to go and get a win. Are you of that ilk, or do you still feel like because of how Steve Bruce has been in the past, and unfortunately for us as Newcastle fans, he's done what he said he was going to do, and that was keep us in the Premier League. Off the back of a horrendous run of not getting a win in 20 games, or whatever it was, or 2 wins in 20 games. Do you think it's time to push the panic button already?
Well, listen, I don't think. Well, it was 97% of the fans don't want Bruce in, or something like that, was it? But so I think everyone wants him out. But I think it's a bit unfair to base it off 3 results this season. But with time, I'm sure results will come, whether they're lucky or not lucky. I'm sure results will come. But it is a dreadful start from what's supposed to be easy fixtures, or easier than we usually get. We usually get some of the so-called big 6 in the first 5-10 games, and it's just Man United, I think, in 2 weeks, and then it's a reasonable run in between that. So we should have at least some points on the board by the weekend. You would have to think, but it's a disappointing start for sure, especially considering this result as well.
Are you not worried about that Southampton side gaining lots of confidence from tonight, though, with those 8 goals?
Absolutely, but at the same time, I think it'll be a much changed team from the weekend, for the weekend. But yeah, obviously the morale of the squad will go right up, especially having already drawn against Man United as well. So it is a bit worrying.
Yeah, I'll just bring the stats in from this evening's game. I hope everyone can see that. Newcastle 54.2% of possession to Burnley's 45.8. 18 shots to Burnley 6. 3 on target to Burnley's 1. 7 off target. And 4 off target for Burnley. 8 blocked. 1 blocked on Burnley. 76% passing to their 70. And only 1 clear-cut chance out of those 18 opportunities with 9 corners and no offsides. What do you make of that, mate?
It's just disappointing, isn't it? 18 shots, 1 clear-cut chance. You would like to think if we're creating that many chances, you've got to put 1 or 2 away, or there's got to be better creativity. It's disappointing. That's all I can say, really.
No, absolutely. I know it's very difficult considering we actually haven't had a chance to see the game properly. I'm just going to we'll have a run through Twitter as well, the NUFC hashtag, to see what everyone's saying through there. Let's have a look. NUFC. That screen still shared.
Yeah.
Perfect. Shoes off if you hate Sunderland. Apparently, NUFC lost tonight. Instead of planning my entire evening around the match, as I always do, I did the weekly food shop. No checking the phone, no stress, no disappointment. Pointless getting involved in this club until Steve Bruce and Mike Ashley have both fucked off. I think that's probably the best take that we're going to get all night. To be fair, I think we should all take the advice from that. What have we got out in the comments as well? Didn't even look at the score till the end because I knew we would lose. At least we are consistent. We're a joke. We need to get rid of Bruce now before we get into real trouble. The 30k turned up for this, giving Cashley more money. Hang your heads in shame. I disagree with that. If people want to go and support the club, that's entirely up to them. Don't think that match revenue pays any dividends to what that man does. It's peanuts in comparison to what the club gives him. It's not disappointing if it's expected. Just Almiron is ahead. As Chicken just run without looking up, and Burnley did nothing in that game, but they still went on. That's what's frustrating. That's what's frustrating. We can clearly see that they did absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. We were on the front foot throughout. And then, how much blame can you put on Bruce for that? If we are creating the chances, surely that comes down to the players to take them.
Yeah. I guess you can say that at some point, but I think he could have, from by the sounds of it, from the lads that were at the game, he could have made the changes sooner. They were saying they wanted the subs on at half time, and you probably saw I put it in the chat. It's just typically he doesn't make his changes until there's 10-15 minutes left, and at that point it's too late for me.
Yeah.
He's just but at the same time he's got to improve the creativity in the midfield. Whether he likes the players or not, he's clearly got to use them, to work with them, because no one's coming in. So he's got to make the best of what he's got.
Absolutely. Listen, we love the club and we'll support the boys even after this. All we can do is move on up the boys. No, it's just difficult though, isn't it? Because it is the same old. I agree. I'm in the same boat as everyone else. I don't want Steve Bruce at the helm, but it's clear to see that is going to be the case moving forward, unfortunately, unless we do go on a horrendous run. It comes back to where we almost were last season. And do you almost want Newcastle to go on a losing streak of games to get him out of the club? And would that even get him out of the club, do you think? If we were to, I'll ask you this, Harry, how many games does it take of losing on the bounce before Mike Ashley looks at it and decides that he needs to get rid of Steve Bruce? Because it is different with having the fans back in the ground.
Yeah, I don't see anything happening until probably late December, January, because that's just the way the club's run. It's run on money and staying in the Premier League. So if we've won only 1 or 2 and we're in 19th or 20th come January, I could see a potential change being made there. But apparently Ashley and Bruce get on well.
Yeah,
and that's another point for keeping him in the job, I suppose. It's I don't see a change being made for a while anyway.
No, it does. Like, there's lots of people that have been and gone from the club that talk about how Mike Ashley rewards loyalty with these 6-year contracts, and that's what worries me after hearing all of these different podcasts. And Freddie Woodman's dad, for example, I think he did one with Under the Cosh not so long ago, and he was talking about how they were rewarded with these 6-year contracts because of the loyalty that they're shown towards the club, and that's why Pardew and all these sorts of people got these ridiculous contracts. And and I just don't. I'm like you. Just don't see where it's going to come from in terms of getting rid of him. But we're just kind of left to endure supporting this rubbish. Bruce will see positives. I guarantee it, says Adam. I know. I think Adam was the same as you. He didn't even listen to the game because he just knew what the outcome was going to be. As we all did, as soon as it went to penalties, you just knew there was no chance of us getting through to the next round. I'm just going to see if we can actually see what's going on with the cup draw at the moment. Just see if we can get it on in the background.
Just typical, isn't it? As soon as you know the game's dragging out and Burnley haven't had a kick or haven't had chances, you just know we're going to lose.
Absolutely. It was just an absolute nightmare. Newcastle crash out Carabao Cup. That's ASM and Alma missed penalties. The thing is, I was joking with one of the lads on Twitter. He was saying, if ASM, he doesn't fancy ASM stepping up for a penalty, then he steps up for the first one and he misses, and you're just like, oh, jinxed it. Waiting for the Carabao. Is it still not started, the draw? I thought it was supposed to start at 10 o'clock. We'll just go through the comments. Even if we lost the games up to Christmas, Bruce will stay. It's the fact Cockney Bastard doesn't want the club and feels nothing for us. I absolutely agree. Just so you know, we have got the last word coming up from Lee, as well as scoring the players from the lads at the ground as well. So that will be coming up very shortly. I don't know what time he wants to start that, so bear with me quickly because I won't keep on waffling for too much longer. Guys, what do you rate Bruce out of 10 after this? It's a difficult one, Haroon, because we've not managed to actually watch the game. So it's difficult. I just know that from what people said who were there, that they would have preferred the changes earlier. I'm not really sure how what you say. We've obviously seen the lineup. How were you with the lineup, Harry? With it being a midweek game?
I was a bit disappointed that he made so many changes. I thought it's a bit ironic saying, "Oh, Willock needs minutes," and then bringing him on with 15 minutes to go. It's good to see Fraser getting a run out. Joe Linton, Gale, Callum Wilson has to be on the bench. Otherwise, well, that happened, didn't it? He would have been. I think he obviously haven't seen the game, but he would have been a great option off the bench if we need a goal, which we did. Delighted to see different people get runouts, but I just thought I'd like to see Matty maybe given a chance. Don't know, really. Mixed feelings, really. What about you?
Very similar to yourself, mate. I was absolutely I was pissed off actually that Matty Longstaff wasn't included, and I just really don't understand what's going on there. I know there's obviously talks about him going out on loan, but the fact that you can't even give him minutes on a Wednesday night against Burnley when he's more than likely not going to play much more first team football for Newcastle throughout the season, it just made no sense to me. I'd much rather have seen him over Jeff Hendrick. That being said, from what I listened to on the radio, it didn't seem like Jeff Hendrick had a bad game. Sounded like it was one of those games that kind of benefited him. I think the first half as well, it sounded like Jamal Lascelles was having a game, having a decent game. It sounded like that Burnley were kind of hoofing the ball, playing long ball football, and it was just one of those games where Jamal Lascelles could kind of lap everything up in the air, something that he didn't manage to do against fucking Tyrone Mings on the weekend. But less said about that, the better. So yeah, I was disappointed as well, mate. Very disappointed. I just thought it was a missed opportunity again.
Absolutely.
Another defeat. Not going good at all for the Toon. Definitely not. Actually, probably bringing in Dennis Wise if Bruce is sacked. Can you imagine?
How horrific would that be?
Yeah. First of all, get rid of Ashley so Bruce can walk away from the UK. We would love Mike Ashley to be gone of this club, mate, but it just doesn't seem that that's ever going to be the case. Still no Matty yet on the bench. I know, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Well, boys, time for work. Wanted to go happy, but we move on. Love the content. Appreciate that, Shane. Enjoy your shift. Seems like a very late one indeed. Southampton game at the weekend is massive. Yes, it is, Adrian. Let me know in the comments what you guys think the score is going to be. Again, I know Harry said it's going to be, we'll expect to see a much changed lineup, but I'm still worried. It's a massive confidence boost putting 8 goals past anyone, especially when they've had a struggle start to the season as well, albeit picking up a decent point against Manchester United. Fraser looked okay today, frustrating that no striker was on the bench. Fair enough, Michael. That's good. From what I heard, he sounded like he couldn't cross a road. But if you're saying he played well, then fair enough. Gutted. Where's this first win going to come from? Have to beat Southampton at the weekend. Be on a high after that win. They got mine. That's exactly my thinking as well, Ben. Mercedes says, I thought the lineup was strange. Everyone talking about all the best to Terry McDermott. Absolutely. A crying shame that he's been diagnosed with that terrible disease. So, yeah, absolutely. Thoughts are with them indeed. Don't know where our first one is coming from, says Keith. Armstrong hat trick. Yeah, it's gonna be. I don't know if he's even in the squad on the weekend. I know he wasn't in the squad tonight. I don't know whether that was down to injury or anything like that. But the less seeing of him on the weekend, the better. Do you think if he does play, he's going to end up bagging a goal against us, Harry?
Probably. I didn't back him to do that well when he signed, but knowing what happens, he probably will, because it's just what happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our former strikers always come back to haunt us.
I know, mate. Thoughts on Woodman? I just feel sorry for him. I don't think you can put him at fault for any of the goals that he's conceded. He's gone and saved another penalty tonight as well.
Yep.
So I really feel like he can have a good season for us, but it's just going to be difficult for him. He's going to have a hell of a lot to do, that's for certain. And he's definitely going to be able to claim his stake as number 1 or number 2, because it looks like Dubravka's out for another 8 or 9 weeks. I don't know how long it's going to take for Darlow to come back. So yeah, I'm glad Woodman's going to get a run out per se, but I do feel sorry for him. What about yourself, Harry? How are you feeling about Freddie Woodman?
Yeah, absolutely the same. Our defence has been a shambles, I guess, other than tonight. But whether they were tested, we don't really know.
Yeah,
probably not. But yeah, 6 goals in 2 games. Yeah, you can't not feel sorry for him, especially when he saved a penalty and then won in the shootout tonight, as you said. Yeah, it feel bad, but I really hope he does get a proper run, even potentially after January, depending on our situation, because he is our future goalkeeper, no doubt about it, for me.
Definitely. If you haven't already, thank you for dropping by. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Also, share the video if you want to. I was only expecting to be on here for 15 minutes, so we won't be on for much longer. The Carabao Cup draw is obviously going on at the moment, so we can't live stream that through here, unfortunately, because I believe we will get copyrighted for it, even though it was live on Twitter. It's disappeared. But yeah. So I'll just quickly have a quick run through these before myself and Harry shoot off, with Lee coming up with more videos. I think he's with Liam and Josh tonight. And Johnny. So yeah, we've got more content coming up. Bruce has got to go. Disgrace. We haven't won that in 90 minutes. Southampton, Man United next, and that'll be 5 losses out of 5. Yes, Woodman needs better protection at the back. We need to defend from the front. 100%. Woodman has been let down by his teammates, as far as I'm concerned. He has. There's no other way to come around it. He absolutely has been let down. Surely we've got to get rid of Almiron. He's absolutely horrendous. I mean, I think the fans are split on Almiron at the moment, 50-50. So yeah, I don't think we're going to sell him, to be honest. But I can appreciate where people are coming from with that. Who are Liverpool facing in the Carabao Cup? I'm not sure, mate. I haven't seen it come through yet. Surely Bruce must resign. How can he continue? We're heading to no man's land with him in charge. Yes, Ashley's the crux of our problems. He's just, from what we saw of him last season, I think last season would have been the perfect time for him to resign, but he didn't. Do you expect him to resign at all, Harry?
Absolutely not. The amount of times he said he doesn't walk away from a challenge, even though he has done before, but no, I absolutely don't, which is really disappointing. And the initial 3-year contract worries me, because God knows how long that goes on for.
Yeah, it is.
It could be here for ages.
It really is worrying, isn't it? Let's have a look. I'm not going to be able to stream it, but see if they're updating it through the website at all.
I can read them out if you want.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
QPR Everton, the first one.
Yeah, QPR Everton. Let's see we got any QPR or Everton fans in here. We've got a Liverpool fan. What have we got? Any poor performances are a reflection of the poor manager, in my opinion. Bruce doesn't know how to manage players. I think his man management in terms of getting the lads on board, he's very good at. Anything that's tactical is completely out the window, and he'll openly admit that. 5 at the back is not working. Why can't Bruce see this? What a clown. I know it took him 75 minutes to go back to a flat back 4, which was frustrating. That's cool, mate. Bruce will stay even if we go down because no one will touch the job until Ashley is gone. I do feel like that. I know we've always managed to find a manager, but if you look at, especially at the Premier League win percentage, you're scraping the barrel with Steve Bruce. And once someone like that goes, who else really comes in? Unless it's a complete fresh face, new to Premier League football. I just can't see anyone coming back in other than going back to the likes of, God forbid it, like Graham Souness and Pardew and that sort of
one
ilk.
of the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Breaking news: Bruce will be sacked in the morning, 2050. Bruce has to go. Ashley's clearly the crux of the problem. However, surely he must see that if Bruce stays, we're heading into no man's land. Willock must be thinking, what has he signed up to? I feel unbelievably bad for Joe Willock right now. I really do. I'd take Pulis over Bruce. Oh, God. It's just very similar, though, isn't it? Let's forget football. What's your favourite pizza? From Domino's, I like the American hot. Anything with jalapenos. What about yourself, mate?
I'm a ham and pineapple kind of guy. Controversial.
Okay. Oh, that's very controversial.
Very.
Does pineapple belong on a pizza? According to Harry, it does.
Incoming abuse.
Yeah, I think you're going to get some now, mate. Where are we?
Man United got West Ham. Sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. Manchester United, West Ham. Is that at Old Trafford?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting fixture. West Ham are in great form at the moment. Man United, not, pretty mediocre so far. Still keeping Jadon Sancho on the bench, which is crazy. ASM, Wilson and Willock need to pull us together and get us out of this mess. Hot shot pizza. Compared to last season, I'm very optimistic this season. We are not sitting back unlike last season where it's frustrating watching games sometimes. I'm excited for this season. I do agree. We do keep attacking, but we're not scoring goals.
And it leaves us really exposed at the back at the same time.
Any manager would do, just sack Bruce. Even a tree is better. Only psychopaths put pineapple on pizza. Fair enough.
Oh, Chelsea have got Villa at Stamford Bridge.
Oh, that'd be an interesting one. One. Chelsea, Aston Villa at Stamford Bridge. Well, what a load of cabbage, I would have said, Michael. If Bruce has as much respect for Newcastle United Football Club, he would walk, because how can you work under Ashley ownership? We thought exactly this last season, though, Mike. And, he's just continued. He's getting paid at the end of the day, isn't he? And he's done this at every club. He's bounced from Sheffield United to Sheffield Wednesday and vice versa. Villa and Blues, all he's bothered about is cash. He's got no dignity.
Norwich, Liverpool at Carrow Road.
Okay. You'd like to think that should be a relatively easy fixture for Liverpool if they're going to take that seriously. Pineapple on a pizza? Hell no. The lads would get a 10-game winning run just on Bruce leaving. Pineapple should only be served on pizza. Interesting. Kendo agrees with you.
Oh, fucking hell. Burnley have got Rochdale.
You're joking.
Sake.
Right. Oh. So, yeah. Burnley end up with one of the easier draws, picking up Rochdale at home, is that, mate?
Yeah.
So yes, fantastic. That makes it even worse. Andrew Bell, meets and heat like Carl. You just can't get any better for me. Pineapple on gammon. I'm with pineapple on gammon, definitely. It's very frustrating from a fan's point of view. Is our season over? It's crazy to think that so early on, but a lot of people think it. I know me and Harry had a joke before, but do you genuinely feel like that, Harry?
Well, to an extent. I mean, there's always the FA Cup, isn't there? But at the same time, it's probably going to be the same story. It's sad, isn't it? Really, but it probably is. But then again, you could just say it's over before it's begun. Does anyone actually think we're going to win it? No.
No, no, definitely not.
But it's
Bruce
just that hope, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Hope.
That's it. It's. I can't believe they're going to go Rochdale. That's unbelievably frustrating. Bruce loves a kebab pizza. Well, I'd take joking here back over Bruce. At least it would be funny rather than depressing. Would you really though, Graham? Eddie Howe, we need now. Love the rhyme there, mate. Eddie Howe still a free agent. I'll go for him if we ever get rid of Bruce. It is strange that he's still not in a job. That's a kick in the teeth, definitely. What's frightening, lads? Bruce is on a rolling contract. I know, and he could have a 3-year extension. I love pineapple on pizza. There's a lot of pineapple lovers there. Yes. I like it. Oh, well, yes. We'll dust ourselves down, get organised and beat Southampton 3-0. I know, Barbara. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Bruce out ASAP. Take a chance on Lampard before it's too late. Not a bad shout. I pray for a miracle to happen and get new ownership for a great club that's getting destroyed by the enemy sidekick. It breaks your passion and hope for a brighter future. Absolutely. Right. Myself and Harry are going to leave it there. You've got Lee, Johnny, Liam, and I think Josh might be in a couple of videos as well with the last word and scoring the players. Thank you to Harry for joining me for the last half an hour. And thank you to all for dropping by as well. Obviously, it's quite difficult to talk about a game that none of us have really been able to see unless you're obviously there. But yeah, just talking about Steve Bruce, I just want him out of the club. I really do. I wanted to give him time, and I've said to all the lads I wanted to give him time. But what's the point? What's the point when this is just going to be the outcome all the time? I will say that Sam Mulliner made a very good point that Graham Jones is the one that's taken the attacking training drills throughout the training sessions, and just be interesting to see where the stick is for him, because it's clearly not working either. But we'll leave that there and we'll talk about that in another video. Thank you again for everyone dropping by. Please like, share and subscribe. I'll stress again, if you haven't, drop a massive like on the video. It helps to push the content up for us. We've not long hit 26,000 subscribers, so we're pushing on to 27,000. There's lots of content over on NFTV Extra as well. We're pushing for hopefully getting close to towards 2,000 subscribers by the end of September. Currently on 1,700, so it'll be a massive help if you guys could go over and check that content as well. Thanks again to Harry, and thank you from myself. We'll catch you on the weekend for what hopefully will be a better result against Southampton. Take it easy, everyone. Enjoy your evening and enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. Bye-bye.